Hello, everyone in the CQM construction community of PMI GLC. Today, as part of our Construction Quality Week celebration, we are doing an interesting interview with Joe Quattrochi. And Joe is from Walsh Construction Group, and he is our first guest in this Construction Week event that we're having with several of the well-known construction companies and discussing the efforts that they're making into their organizations for continuous improvement and understanding the trends in construction quality and also the advantages of going into a career in quality management and where the career development is foreseen in your future. So, Joe, thank you for accepting our invitation. Can you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you do in Walsh Construction?
Sure. Thank you, Hani, for having me. Appreciate being a part of this and really appreciate joining in to the celebration of Construction Quality Week and further expanding that. So myself, Joe Quattrochi, currently Quality Director for the Walsh Group in our civil infrastructure, bridges, highways, tunnels, water treatment plants. Been with the company now for going on 18 years here. Started as a project engineer in the field, superintendent for a few years, on to project manager for a handful of jobs. Ultimately, my way left the Chicago region, went down to Louisville, Kentucky, where I was on a mega P3 project. Was a project manager on that for a while, and with the type of contract that it was, we were having an issue with our quality management on that job and had the opportunity to kind of jump into that role, take that over, and that's propelled me into this realm of quality management that's now been going on for about 7 years or so. Left that job back up in Chicago and took over the quality director role that now oversee all of our operations on the civil side across the country. So a lot of that really just stemmed from
like a person with good technical background and some management skills could be a good quality manager, as we say, elite project managers are good quality managers.
Yes, and that's kind of what propelled me into this role. At the time on the project that I was on and just within the region and the company, quality was just kind of that, they test concrete and do some technical things, we don't have to worry about it. And me jumping into that role, just the nature of that individual job, it created this opportunity of completely rethinking what quality is. That started with just changing the name from quality control to quality. That quality is an overreaching thing of everything that we do, from submittals, planning, drawings, to the execution of the work, inspection, testing, making sure that's right, to how we handle our clients, the communications and community, and all the way through that. Quality is just about doing it right, no matter what. So it's kind of been taking that philosophy.
And one of the reasons IMBUC was developed by the government actually in the early stages, and they asked for PMI to come up with this body of knowledge, was actually to improve quality in the different aspects of a project management. So that's a very good point, that all what we do is to improve what we're trying to do. We call it quality management, or maybe continuous improvement, whatever it is. That's the aim of all these management programs. So what do you guys do because I know Walsh is very active in this initiative of having a quality week. Actually, I've seen it from Walsh initially. So do you know like other companies that are taking this initiative? Are they working with you on this? Do you have collaboration with other people? And what do you do in your organization for that?
So, good question. So we started Quality Week back about 4 years ago. Initially kind of rolled it out just to kind of see what would happen. Job sites are typically used to the safety week mentality, and we didn't know at first if it was going to be, well, this is just another thing to do. They're just copycatting. But we were pleasantly surprised of the engagement that it created a little more emphasis and focus, not just during that 1 week, but we saw that it carried through, that the activities we laid out, people were asking for those things later down the road. And like, hey, we want to do that, and we saw, we got benefit out of that. So that's made us want to continue to grow this initiative. So we've, myself and my counterpart, Angelo Trapani, we've presented on Quality Week to a couple different industry forums over the last couple of years. We brought it to the Construction Executive Quality Council, showing that this initiative that we, not just as the quality directors, but as the Walsh family, strongly support and see the value in. And we want to see it not just help support our own company, but support the industry at large. So definitely something that we're looking to expand on. Been in contact with a couple dozen contractors of different sizes and even owner groups that want to participate, that want this to be more just like how Safety Week is, that it's a benefit to everybody, to the owners, to the clients, to the workers, to the company, that everyone's going to get benefit out of this, of just raising that awareness and raising that focus.
That's beautiful to hear, because a lot of people in the construction industry, unfortunately, think that our industry is very competitive, and they don't understand how we can be collaborative with each other to become better as an industry and help each other. Actually would benefit all, and instead of thinking that it's a competitive industry where we shouldn't share best practices or whatever. Actually, I was listening to an audiobook as I was driving to this meeting. It was called The Survivor of the Friendliest instead of the fittest. So it shows that being friendly and cooperative actually helps us as a species and also as an industry to improve what we can do. And like I mentioned in our talk, if we go into blue ocean strategy of coming up with new innovative ways of doing things, it certainly would create a bigger and better market for us and improve the way we do things. So is quality management in Walsh, is it only for quality control of the technical aspect, or do you guys go into management part where you talk about strategies and implementing strategies down all the ranks, and how to use that business intelligence, for example, to feed back into the system and do a knowledge management for I would say a learning organization, for example?
Sure. So yeah, we do look at quality as more of a whole cycle system. Every one of our projects has a project quality champion. Typically, that's could be a small $2 million job or a mega job that's in the billions, and it's usually a project engineer, superintendent, assistant manager that has an operational role, but we let them wear a quality hat to help push the culture, the initiatives, and to make it a focus. Even on jobs that have a full-time quality manager that has to handle the technical aspects, we still want a quality champion that's leading it from the operational side of things. One, it's a growth for their own careers to kind of see that side of things and know that that's a potential career path to be able to go in, as well as just being a little bit more rounded. It's kind of the idea that really all of our personnel, when they start off as project engineers, we don't want them just funneled into just one mindset of, well, this is the only track I can go. No, we want you to know that you own the safety of your work, you own the profitability of your work, and you own the quality of your works. So that we want people to be a little bit more well-rounded, to have that full mentality of things. And where that then also goes is, even if they don't stay on that path, ultimately just building better project managers, because they had that little bit of stint being that quality champion, seeing a little bit of that side, understanding what that's entailed. So as they grow along their careers, they're able to better communicate and understand that side that, maybe from an owner perspective or from the technical aspects, because they've seen a little bit more of that than they otherwise might have. The other aspect, a big push within our company, is the learning aspect as it relates to quality. Mistakes are bound to happen, but it's when mistakes happen a second time. When you have to pay that tuition over again, that's when it really hurts. So we have our internal reporting system, as many companies do, and that's really one of the focus of the quality champion, of not just reporting the things, but seeing, all right, what can we learn out of it? How can we improve because of that? And not just reporting the issues, but learning from them. And then we have an internal database system that we house basically our internet called Walsh works, that we share all of our best practices and standard operating procedures and all that, and that's kind of becomes a learning mechanism that they then all become a part of as well, that stays with them throughout their career. They always know that those resources exist and always have that ability to grow back in there and constantly feed that wheel for the next generation of builders along the way.
So if you would want to encourage young or prospective professionals, emerging professionals, to go into quality management realm, what kind of career path do you recommend, and what are those maybe organizations that they need to join, or a certification or accreditation that you look for when you look into someone with good quality management background?
Sure. As far as certifications are that, one of the best ones that's out there is the U.S. Army Corps quality contractor quality management cert. A very general cert, but gives the foundation of your typical quality management program and helps you understand things from an owner perspective and see everything from how they look at submittals, documentation, reading contracts, to the actual physical work to some degree. That's probably one of the better all-around elements. And then one thing I would say for sure is get your professional engineering degree. More and more owners are having that as a requirement for the upper quality management, especially on mega jobs, or just something that owners typically look for, and definitely need it if you're more heavily focused on the design realm of things. So getting that when people are still fresh out of school is a great thing to go through and get done at that point in time, and keeping up with that with all the continuous education that you need to do, well worth the investment from that aspect. Then from there, learn how to build things, get the field experience, see how things are done from the field side, whether that's through my career started as a surveyor initially, when I was in college during summer internships. That's what got me the field aptitude to understand how work actually got built. So something like that field side of things is completely invaluable. That could be from a CEI testing firm and doing concrete testing and getting your ACI certification and going that route. Could be from an inspector with a DOT to project engineer, field engineer role with a contractor. Any of those creates that base field knowledge to go with some of that certification, to have some more of the technical knowledge to then give you that ability to find your own career path.
What about ASQ or ISO or those organizations? Do you think those would benefit the construction industry?
More and more, we're seeing a little bit of each of those come out, especially on some of the larger jobs. If you're, more interested in the industrial world, I would definitely say that that's something of high importance. The industrial side will definitely more go that route with ISO. Within the more private sector, you're really not going to see much of that, especially in the building side of things. Every now and then, some ISO certifications and that. But again, for the fundamentals, I would start with that Army Corps class, an ACI, and get that field training. That's really going to propel you, along with having your professional engineering degree, is really going to set the stage for you.
Sounds good. And what are the different softwares that you guys use for quality management in your organization? Do you think the students or engineers need to learn if they want to get into quality management?
It's a good question. So within Walsh, our group is actually called the Quality and Innovation Department, where we handle our quality management, continuous improvement, our lesson sharing database, as well as our construction technology arm. The one thing we keep talking about as it relates to construction technology is don't let the software or the technology make your decisions. Let the process do that. So I guess I'm answering your question with saying that the process and the people are the important part. The software, that's just a different interface, a different button you're pressing. It really is a tool to help streamline it. Right. So if you understand the process,
that's for sure.
Yeah, if you understand the process and understand the people, honestly, I think that's the best bet, because every company seems to have their own software, their own systems that they prefer. So it's really just being able to be agile with those.
So just a little history about our CQM community is that we actually formed the community in our first um, CQM, what we call this construction quality management discussion panel in November 2019. And that was in Wayne State University, where I invited people from our owner side, from our third party testing, my own instructor and mentor, and the chairman of the civil engineering department at Wayne State, and a few other friends and big companies like Barton Mello and Waldbridge into that little discussion group. And I presented how I developed Brinker's quality management program for the DTE projects that we were doing for DTE at the time. And I went through the system that I created based on the DTE requirements, the benchmarking from Barton Mello and Chrisman Construction, and kind of develop something that would incorporate all those different methodologies and best practices from advanced work packaging from CII or the CQM that you mentioned. I went through that training first and then got the methodology from the CQM Army Corps of Engineers. And then I kind of mixed it with the TQM that I knew from 1996, the time that it was introduced and it was very popular, and kind of put together all of those together with lean construction discussions and pool planning and so forth. So everybody was like, how did you put all of those things together, and how can you add and synergize all those things together in one system? And my answer was that I use PMBOK, and the project management body of knowledge that PMI has developed, and the methodology that they use to have the inputs and outputs and how to fit these different best practices and tools into one system kind of helped me to develop my own when I went to create this quality management program. So one of the things I advocate to all construction project managers is that if you really want to become a very good quality manager, you first need to be very good technical with project engineering, and then be very good in managing and coordinating work, and then become a professional at what you do in order to start thinking about quality. And many people think about quality as just checklist to do quality control. That's the QMS part, in the quality management system part, which is the manual, the plan, and the checklist. But I look at it in holistic, integrative work, where we try to do preventive quality management and be proactive rather than just do that quality control in the field. But again, I mean, these DTE jobs are pretty big. They require this kind of system, and in other smaller projects, we usually try to ask our project engineers and superintendent and whoever to do the same things in a much smaller scale. But again, the principles are the same. And I like to see more collaboration from the industry. I like to see more people from Walsh in our construction community. As I mentioned, we have these quarterly meetings. Every quarter, we discuss a topic, like we discuss the project controls and use of BIM and other technologies for automation, and the different softwares that we can use and how we can use them. And as you mentioned, it's the process first, the people education, and then using the right tools to make it efficient and productive. But any last words for us, and any legacies that you want to leave for our community before we leave?
Sure. I agree with what you say. I mean, there are some great tools out there and great things, but it really comes down to the fundamentals, understanding the process, and really understanding people. At the end of the day, this is a people business. All these technical things that we do and great things that we build, it comes down to the people swinging the hammer, the people all the way along in every single step, from the design to the contracting, all the way around. It's really a people business. So while the technical aspects is key, remembering people's names and creating those relationships is huge, because you'll always remember that as well. not just the work that you built, but who you built it with. And that's a little bit of this whole emphasis on quality is pushing to not just the quality manager, not just to the project manager, not just to the CEI firm or that, but to every person on the job, that everyone has a job to do. Everyone has a role. Everyone has a function. And it's about taking pride in that function that you're doing. And when you're taking pride in what you're doing, you're going to make sure it's right. You're going to put your name on it. You're going to be proud to be able to tell your friends, your family, your loved ones of, hey, I helped build that. I was a part of that job. And I know that I left every single day where the work was safe and the work was right. And by saying that and be able to put your name on it, I mean, that means more to me about anything than, what we got paid or how much money we got or if we beat schedule or that. Because at the end of the day, it's about, is it right? Are you happy with the work that you did? And that's something you can go home with, and that same mentality at home. The work that you're doing at home is just the same as it you're doing on a job. If you're proud of the stuff you're doing at home, that's something you can put your name on. That's something you can show off to your friends and everything else. And that's what it's about. So it's taking pride in what you're doing. That's to me what it's about, and that just carries on with you.
Sounds very good. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate your time and the insight that you gave all of us. And I'm sure that a lot of people benefited from this discussion. And hopefully we can see more of your presentations in future in our events and programs.
Well, thank you. And everybody have a great quality week.